Thank you, Madam Speaker. I table an open letter by a nurse who's been working at the Victoria Hospital. No one told the Vic that a patient who was coming from St. Boniface from a suspected COVID ward. The patient wandered the halls, and when people put on masks, they were mocked. Nurses there don't have adequate PPE. Now, the government knew about problems at the Vic because I wrote a letter to the minister, which I also table, about the father of Dr. Jen Gunter. Mr. Gunter died there after developing sores, not being fed. No one returned Jen Gunter's calls for help, and the Vic admitted there were mistakes in his care, then cancelled the meeting with the family. So before the pandemic, we already had catastrophic failures in basic care and basic communication for a patient. In July, the minister knew about it. Why is the Premier blaming Manitobans when he can't even make sure that nurses in hospitals get PPE in a code red?
The Honourable First Minister.
The NDP opposition, Madam Speaker, was intelligent enough and thoughtful enough on this rare occasion to stand with the government last week and support a call for the federal government to resume its rightful responsibilities in funding health care in this country. Hear, hear. Every Premier of every political stripe agrees, and virtually every opposition party across the country from coast to coast to coast, except the Liberals in this province, who sat quietly on their hands and represented Ottawa to Manitobans yet again. And they continue to do it, and they do it again today. While we stand up for Manitobans and for Manitoba health care, the members should do the same.
The Honourable Member for St. Boniface on a supplementary question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Clear that the Premier didn't hear my remarks. I'd be more than happy to share with him my opinion on that resolution last week. Earlier this month, in the middle of a code orange, I got a fundraising letter from my son's school, which I table.
Order.
Asking me and other parents to sell chocolate bars in order to raise money for distance learning equipment, a hand washing station, and 40 face masks. Now, apparently this was a miscommunication. We shouldn't be surprised about the confusion, because the Premier and his ministers have never explained how $85.4 million in federal money to make safe schools will be sent. Many other provinces break it down in detail. My question, would the Premier like to buy some chocolate bars, or will he actually spend some of the $85.4 million he got from the federal government to make my child and the schools across Manitoba safe?
The Honourable Minister of Education.
Madam Speaker, first of all, I noticed that the member opposite was tweeting erroneous information and scaring individuals within a certain school on the weekend, Madam Speaker, and I think that's unfortunate that this member, of course, puts politics ahead of both the safety but also, I think, the overall mental health of those who are dealing in a very difficult time. More specifically, when it comes to Ottawa, Madam Speaker, he will know that less than 3% of the funding that we ever receive when it comes to education would come from the federal government. This is a government that has stepped up with $100 million of funding. We continue to provide support to the schools as they need them. He can yell from his chair all that he wants, Madam Speaker, but it doesn't change the facts that we're here to represent Manitoba. He represents Ottawa to Manitoba, Madam Speaker.